Welcome into the first edition of Beyond the Arc here in 2015 on High School Cube News. My name is Brian Chimino, back with you with Michael O'Brien of the Chicago Sun-Times. A lot of results from the holiday season to go over. Let's start with the Stevenson Patriots. #1 going into the holiday season, #1 in the new year. They win the Proviso West Holiday Tournament for the second straight year, this time the championship game over St. Joe's. Go out east to West Virginia, lose one, then win one. But an impressive holiday season for Stevenson.
Another impressive run through Proviso West through that tournament. They handled St. Joe's nicely. It was a close game for a while. It really felt like no matter what St. Joseph's did, Jalen Brunson was going to have an answer. He's just at that next level right now that sometimes you'll see from seniors late in their high school career, where he's playing, frankly, like a really good college player, still playing high school basketball. It's almost unfair for the kids trying to guard him. Even people like Glenn Watson, who's a great high school point guard and is going to be a good college player, Brunson was just too much.
The Stevenson Patriots, obviously the favorite in the NSC Lake, winning the Proviso West Tournament, but two other teams with success over the holidays. #7, Lake Forest, winning Jack Tosh for the second straight year. Evan Boudreau winning MVP once again. And what about #16, Lake Zurich, winning Pekin at the buzzer over Plainfield East?
I give serious consideration, as crazy as it sounds, since maybe it's not crazy, since Lake Forest is #7, to making them #1. I mean, they're undefeated in January. That holds a lot of weight with me. It always has. No matter what type of high school basketball schedule you play, if you wind up in January undefeated, it's an amazing, amazing feat. They are pretty much the only ones in our area that have done that on any level you want to look at of high school basketball. So you got to give them a ton of credit for that, and they destroyed a really good Riverside Brookfield team in that York final. And then, yeah, you mentioned Lake Zurich. They're a team I saw play Lake Forest. They can really, really shoot it. And they handle the ball well. They don't turn it over a bunch. They don't really have many threats in the post. But that's a good team. They're going to be one to watch. They have a matchup with Stevenson this week. It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
The Simeon Wolverines had a good holiday break as well, winning Pontiac for the 5th time in the last 6 seasons, then going out east to the Cancer Research Classic and rolling over Bishop Gorman, who has 2 big ACC recruits.
Yeah, Simeon is becoming now the team the rest of the state feared they would become, what a lot of us expected. They're still down in the rankings because of the St. Rita loss, but their talent is playing up to its potential. Really need to mention Zach Norvell. I mean, he hit, I think, 5 or 6 threes in that win over Bishop Gorman. If he's going to shoot like that, it's really hard to see anybody being able to even play a close game with Simeon, much less beat him. They're playing that well right now. And yeah, Pontiac was down. They really didn't play anybody that great at Pontiac, but they looked really together. Everything just seemed to be working a lot better for them than it did against St. Rita. And then that Bishop Gorman team just loaded. 2 6'11" guys, a 7-footer, and they acted like it was just literally a low-level high school team. They destroyed them. So Simeon is on its way. Now they're going to head into some really tough conference play. Teams that have just been licking their chops, like Bogan, going to get them in their tiny little gym. Morgan Park coming around, even Vocational, who's played them close. So that's going to be tough, especially coming off their travels. And Simeon has more travels this weekend. They're going out to play, some more out-of-state games. So it's going to be tough for them to keep it going, but man, they couldn't have played any better, and they are primed for it.
And talk about a team that's really hot right now. What about Hales winning the McDipper over Rich South in the championship game? Dominic Christian, 7 3-pointers in the title game. That's a tournament record. 26 points as they win the championship.
Yeah, look out, Class 2A. If there's a better 2A team in the state, I don't know who it is. Hales is among the best teams in the area. They could compete for the 4A and 3A state title if they had to. They're one of those teams, they just look for the open man. It's not about anybody special. It's about who is open and playing hard defense, and they are really fun to watch. If you haven't seen Hales yet and you love high school basketball, make a point to go out and see them. Don't worry that they don't have, a star player you want to see. This is a really exciting, really fun team to watch.
Bogan had a little hiccup down in Centralia, losing in the quarterfinals to O'Fallon. They stay in at round at #9. But about Whitney Young Dolphins, for the first time in a long time, absent from the Super 25.
Yeah, Bogan, I still haven't seen it. They don't feel like the team they have the last 3 years to me. Something is a little bit off with Bogan, although this is going to be the week they can turn it around, playing Simeon. They're going to want to really go all out for that game. So it'll be interesting to see if Bogan kind of snap out of a little funk. I mean, it's just 2 losses for the season. And Whitney Young, nobody's really sure what they are. They've got a lot of talent. I watched them beat Farragut. They looked pretty good. They've played an incredibly tough schedule. I mean, they're 4-5, but I don't know if there's any team in the area that wouldn't have 2 or 3 losses with that schedule. That said, they're not in the rankings simply because they don't have the high-quality local wins you need to be in the rankings in January. And a lot of that's because they haven't played those teams. But, what can you do? If a win over Farragut and win over Orr right now is just not enough to stay in the Super 25.
Along with Lake Zurich and Rich South in the top 25, welcome back Bennett Academy. A nice showing down at Pontiac. They're all the way up to number 11 after a second-place finish.
I saw Bennett, against Naperville Central and Neuqua back early in Thanksgiving. I thought they could be a really good team by the end of the year. Well, Gene Heidkamp made sure that happened by the holidays. They're going to be really dangerous for anybody to deal with right now. Colin Bonnet is, just a tremendous high school player. It took Simeon to shut him down. Nobody else was able to do that, and that's going to continue, throughout the next few months. Colin Bonnet is going to get them a ton of wins, and they are the team to look out for, especially in that Hinsdale Central Super Sectional. Come March, that is not loaded. Hinsdale Central's good, Bennett's good, West Aurora is good, but don't be surprised if Bennett finds their way to Peoria for another year.
And that'll do it for this edition of Beyond the Arc here on High School Cube News. Check iTunes and Stitcher. A new episode of No Shot Clock Podcast with Mike and Joe Henriksen dropping every Tuesday on your smartphone, tablet, or computer. For Michael O'Brien, I'm Brian Chimino. We'll see you later.